Right behind me is the Brookhaven daycare. But what you didn't know is that this place used to be a hospital, an agency building, and so many more things. That's why in today's video, we're going to be going over everything that has been removed from Brookhaven RP. From cars and items that have been completely deleted to buildings that have been absolutely destroyed. We're going to be looking through all of it in today's video, so make sure to stay tuned. But starting off with the Brookhaven daycare, it might just seem like a normal building in the map. But what I'm sure you didn't know was that this place used to be an agency building. See, all the way back in 2020 when Brookhaven was released, the owner decided to replace the daycare with a secret agency building. In this building, there was quests and jobs to obtain so that you could become a real CIA agent in Brookhaven. However, 1 month after the game was released, the owner decided to delete it from the game forever and replace it with the daycare we all know and love. The reason for this was because the agency building was too hard to get into and it was too scary for players to use. So now we have the absolutely gorgeous daycare with the new update showing all these new colors, bro. This is absolutely insane. But the next secret thing that was removed from Brookhaven all comes from the mini mall next to the plaza. While everything might just look normal when you have your arcade, your ice cream shop, Club Brooks, and all the other stores, little do a lot of people know that right up here used to house a secret place called the mayor's office. Once again, back in 2020 when Brookhaven was released, the owner thought it would be a good idea to add a mayor type of job, where any player who claims it first will become the absolute mayor of Brookhaven. While this job does seem kinda cool, it was removed due to the fact that people were absolutely abusing the powers that the mayor gave them. From destroy the whole map to using admin commands, this job was absolutely broken and needed to be removed ASAP. However, going into one of the oldest lost versions of Brookhaven, you can see that right here is the mayor's office. And if we take a closer look, you can see that up here is where the mayor would sit, where you would claim your job title, and where the mayor would have meetings, kind of like the actual mayor's office. But thankfully, it was removed from Brookhaven, so now the map is way chiller to be around. No longer do you have someone absolutely abusing admin commands and making everyone's life in the game horrible. However, the next thing that was removed from Brookhaven is a little bit different than everything we've viewed so far, because this time, this is not a building or a car or any type of item. This is actually a secret emote that was completely deleted from Brookhaven. See, if you go to the emotes tab, everything looks pretty normal until you realize that there is something called a CPR emote that does not appear anywhere. This video that I'm showing on screen right now shows exactly what this CPR emote used to do. Whenever a player would lay down or choke inside of the game, a CPR emote would be done by another player to help revive them. While this emote does seem pretty simple and innocent by itself, there was actually a lot of bad things that were going on with it, because the owner of the game found out that the online daters in Brookhaven were using this emote to take advantage of other players. And on top of that, they were doing very sus things with it, so it was very quickly deleted when they found out. So now if you look in the emote tab, the CPR emote is nowhere to be found. In fact, the emote was actually replaced with the cheer emote, which you can see me doing right now. What's interesting, however, is that if you're able to use hacks inside of Brookhaven, you're able to retrieve the emote from the in-game files. However, if you were to do this, you would be quickly banned from Brookhaven forever and your account would be deleted. So I highly recommend none of you guys hack Brookhaven to try that out. However, the next thing that was removed from Brookhaven is actually quite fascinating, because if you go ahead and move your mouse all the way to the items tab, you can see all the items that you're able to spawn in Brookhaven. You're able to get things like stop signs, hammers, guns, whatever you want. It's pretty much available in the Brookhaven item selection. However, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see this Coca-Cola can right here. And while at first glance it might just look really normal and nothing's wrong with it, there's actually a very dark story behind this. See, back when Brookhaven was released, they added a bunch of items in the game that you could find in real life. Things like Hershey bars, Reese's Pieces, and a bunch of different other things that you could find in real life were in Brookhaven. However, little did the owner know that using these items found in real life in Brookhaven was actually illegal and could get the game deleted. This is due to the fact that Brookhaven did not ask Coca-Cola or any of these other companies to use their items inside of Brookhaven. So because of this, the owner of Brookhaven ended up getting sued and Roblox threatening to delete their game forever. However, after the owner of Brookhaven had a discussion with the people who owned Coca-Cola and other items found inside of Brookhaven, they ended up coming to agreement to keep the items inside of the game. The same case goes for the iPhone found inside of Brookhaven as well as the tablet too. So for a very brief moment in Brookhaven's history, there were no branded items inside the game at all. But thankfully, because these companies were so nice, they let the owner of Brookhaven keep these inside of the game for us to use and have fun with. However, the next thing that was removed from Brookhaven is actually quite scary, because this building that was removed wasn't just any ordinary building that you could find in Brookhaven. It was actually a completely secret base hidden under the map. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the secret criminal base that was removed from Brookhaven. See, back in 2022, if you walked all the way over to the 11th plot on the map, you were able to spawn this secret dealership car wash house. And while at first this house might just look really normal, but things get scary fast. Because if you end up clicking the mop right next to the car, you end up opening a secret base which leads you to the hidden criminal base. Inside this criminal base, there were guns, secret clothes that you couldn't get inside the regular Brookhaven, and so many more different things. On top of that, this was all hidden underground, meaning that no one in Brookhaven could get to anywhere near this place unless you found it. However, the owner decided to remove it from the game because first of all, it was way too scary. I mean, come on, bro, that was absolutely insane. Having a criminal base inside of your house should not be allowed in Brookhaven. But two, it was also unfair to other players because you could only get inside the criminal base if you had the dealership house unlocked. So if you're ever thinking about going to the criminal base, I have some bad news for you. However, the next item that was removed from Brookhaven is actually really interesting, because if you go over to the vehicles tab, you can see that there's this hoverboard item right here. But for a while, this item was actually completely taken out of Brookhaven due to the fact that this item had so many glitches inside of it. See, if you click on it right here, it looks very normal. I mean, it looks like I'm just driving around having a good old time on my hoverboard. But this video right here shows people absolutely flying into the sky while riding this hoverboard. This was because that when the creator of Brookhaven decided to add this item to the game, he forgot to code it in right so it wouldn't have a bunch of glitches. So whenever someone would spawn it in and start riding it, tons of crazy things would happen that would make them fly all across the map. So for a very long time, this item was completely removed from Brookhaven. However, again, if you go to the vehicles tab and have premium, you can go ahead and spawn it in and play with it yourself. And even though that back in the day it wasn't a premium only item, it's still nice to have it inside of Brookhaven for anyone to use if they wish. Now going back to the daycare and adoption center, it might just look like a normal place on paper. Now the next removed thing from Brookhaven is actually once again in the daycare and adoption center. I mean, at first glance, it does look like just a normal place. However, there was not just an agency here back in the day. There was also a secret hospital that used to be in the place of the daycare. And unlike the agency, the hospital looked exactly like the daycare looks like now. Once again, I decided to use a lost and hidden version of Brookhaven to find the hospital for myself. And oh my gosh, bro, this is actually crazy. I mean, just look at this place. I mean, you can literally see there's an ambulance right here. The daycare looks exactly the same. However, it's literally just in a hospital type of view. What's interesting though is that if you go inside, it literally looks exactly like the adoption center and daycare that we have now. However, one side of the building is completely rusted, which is really weird, and I don't know why that happened. But it's honestly really interesting to think about what Brookhaven would have looked like if there were two hospitals. However, the owner decided to remove it because having two hospitals in the game was just absolutely unnecessary, and there was no daycare, which was absolutely needed. And I mean, come on, bro, you can't lie. This hospital is way better than this hidden lost hospital. But I will be honest, this is really cool to see. However, moving on to the next thing that was removed from Brookhaven was actually something that was loved by the whole community. So if you go to the cars section on the right tab, you can scroll down and see that there's a bunch of cars here. However, if you scroll far enough, you end up seeing that there is this monster truck right here that looks really weird. That's because that monster truck is not the original monster truck that was in Brookhaven. See, back in the day, there used to be a monster truck that was available to every single player inside of Brookhaven without any game passes. This vehicle was absolutely broken. It could go so fast, go over anything that you wanted it. It was absolutely one of the best vehicles in Brookhaven without a doubt. However, the owner decided to remove it from the game for absolutely no reason and replace it with this hidden monster truck that is locked behind a game pass. Obviously, this upset a lot of people that were playing Brookhaven. I mean, removing one of the best vehicles from the game was absolutely unnecessary. However, looking at this lost video of someone using the monster truck in the game, you could see that it was absolutely broken, just like I said. So honestly, it is really sad to see that this is not in the game anymore, and I really hope one day it comes back. But the next thing that was removed from Brookhaven is once again a vehicle, but but instead of it being a normal vehicle, it was actually really strange. Because this vehicle was titled the Santa Sleigh, and it sounds like exactly how it is. The Santa Sleigh lets you use reindeers and have Santa's sleigh to ride around Brookhaven. This car would go absolutely super fast, and you did not need any game passes to make it do that. On top of that, it would fly over all of Brookhaven, making it absolutely so broken. Of course, the owners decided to absolutely remove it from Brookhaven because, I mean, come on, bro. Having a Santa sleigh in Brookhaven would be absolutely insane, and no one should be able to have that. However, many people speculate that the Santa sleigh will come back Christmas of this year. But honestly, this is all insane because I can't believe these things were ever removed from Brookhaven.